Yo, what's going on, guys? Chris Bonner here, Overtime Athletes. So a follow-up to the last video I did when I was breaking down Darius's run and I was explaining what we worked on that off season to be able to improve his top speed or his maximum velocity mechanics, right? I was able to show you guys a before and an after through one off season. I kind of wanted to break down and show you guys what we were actually doing. So in the first video, I gave you kind of a wide explanation rant of what I'm trying to achieve with increasing force production, then getting efficient with backside and frontside mechanics, okay? So again, like I said, just to reiterate, everything from the backside is if you split the body down in half, it's the motions in the back. Front side is everything in the front, and we're just breaking those down into those two things. Now, you guys have seen me do a lot of different videos inside this gym pertaining to top speed. And it's one of those things where I don't create too much variation, right? When it comes to top speed, it's a little bit more of the same mundane drills, just repeated over and over again, because I'm trying to instill a motor pattern that sticks at a high velocity, right? So we train components of top speed and what we're trying to do with backside and frontside mechanics and translate it over to the actual field. So I'll train a series of drills and then I'll actually have them go back and run top speed with it. So the point behind that is, again, to be able to get them performing like that in that actual drill and then translate it over to their actual sprint or gates, okay? So the first ones that I'll go through will be the front side mechanics, okay? And there's actually a series of drills that I do for each. The first one is you often see me do is going to be a lot of A skips and B skips. Now, A skips obviously are great for producing horizontal power or horizontal force forward. Same thing with power skips for height and power skips for distance, which you often see me do. But A skips also work that cross extensor reflex, which is a reflex in the body. And then in addition to that, but the big portion is I want to teach the athlete to be able to pop the thigh high while keeping the ankle dorsiflex. So the main thing I'm looking outside the cross extensor reflex that I'm looking for an athlete to do when they're doing an A skip is I want them to be able to pop the thigh and keep the toe to the top of the shoe in dorsiflexion. And that's the really big thing that I'm focusing on there that we repeat over and over again. A lot of guys in the beginning, you'll see them, they'll have that plantar flexion, right? So they're gonna point that toe down. I'm just trying to teach them how to pop that thigh and get that up here in this motion. The next one is what we call B skips. Now, I know a lot of coaches have started to take these out of their toolbox. I still like them because what happens is it teaches the body when you pop the thigh or get a high knee, right, to extend the lower limb at its highest point. So when guys tear their hamstrings, usually what happens is they're coming through their cycle and they're trying to, as their hamstrings flexed, they're trying to extend their lower limb here, right? So we want to be able to teach them to come through the full cycle and then release the hamstring coming down into their next position, right? So B skip, all I'm trying to do is do the same thing as A skip, come up, toe to the top of the shoe, and at the knee's highest point, when the knee meets the hip, I want to release the lower limb. I don't want to reach. It's very important that I'm saying release as far as a cue, then reach, right? Because release means you're just releasing the hamstring to contraction and pulling the foot down. Whereas reaching, a lot of guys, when they do B skips, they get lazy and they just kick the leg out as high as they can. I'm not really necessarily looking for that. I'm just looking for them to relax the hamstring contraction at the top. So it's here and then kick the lower limb out slightly. Like I said, releasing it. So that's B skip. From there, going to force production, what you'll see me do is a series of straight leg bounds. And this is where I'm just trying to produce horizontal force with the glutes, pushing the athlete forward. I won't get too much into that. It's pretty simple. However, it is one of the top drills within the top speed circuit that I utilize. After that, we'll get into more backside mechanics, okay? So when it comes to backside mechanics, the first thing that I initially teach is single leg high knee. When you teach single leg high knee, we're really focusing on triple flexion of the hip, knee, and ankle, okay? And really what I'm looking for when you go single leg high knee is to actually focus on getting not only popping the thigh, but it's initiated by dorsiflexion, toe to the top of the shoe, right? We're flexing the hip, knee, and ankle. And really my goal is to tell the athletes, because they just got done A-skip, right? It's to teach the athletes to get that heel to the butt as high as they can. And what this works is in that residual phase, as they're coming through, instead of that long swooping motion I talked about, they're actually toe to the top of the shoe and initiating triple flexion here. So it's a nice tight cycle, as you saw in that after video with Darius, right? So we went from this here, which is long, slow. Not only are you cutting your stride length off, but you're also, spending a lot of time inefficiently back here, to here, boom, and I'm snapping it up, going into my next cycle as I sprint. That's it for triple flexion and the single leg high knee. Finally, what I might progress to is I'll probably progress an athlete to some kind of single leg cycling, where they're going to actually perform bounds and actually focus on pulling through a full cycle, right? So we've just taught triple flexion. Now I add the frontside mechanics where I pop the thigh, right? And then I release the hamstring. The main thing on this last one that I focus on is teaching the athlete to actually initiate pulling down with the glute. So actually extending the upper limb by pulling down with the glute and then going through a full cycle. So these are my bread and butter when it comes to top speed, but I just wanted to be able to explain to you guys what I'm doing and what I'm trying to achieve. Like I said, they're pretty mundane. I don't switch them up. I do vary and do add other things depending on the athlete. For the most part, from a staple point of my program, these are the drills that I'm actually working when I do top speed once a week. And this is the result of them, as you can see in the video. So I hope that helps. There's a breakdown for you guys. I'll catch you guys next time.